how do you use video to increase your traffic? So, okay, I get that video works. It taps into the brain. It's how we develop that relationship. Now what? Like how do I increase traffic to my website using video?
Yeah. So there's this is where you kind of get nuts and bolts kind of stuff going on. And so what you have to do is kind of think of I have two analogies kind of. So one analogy is like breadcrumbs. So you know the idea of breadcrumbs along a path, and you want to create kind of a trail of breadcrumbs from where your client is to your front door of your therapy office. And video is kind of like taking one of those breadcrumbs out and replacing it with a cupcake. If that makes sense. So like video can be used as part of your what we call sales funnel online. So most people think of their online presence as really two-dimensional, So they think I'm just gonna kind of put a lot of stuff out there on social media and hope that just kind of raises awareness. Well, that is one way to do social media, but the way that you want to do it is kind of create a funnel or a breadcrumb trail or a cupcake trail, so that people are led into your website and then into your front door, basically, to do the first appointment. So
I know you guys have talked about like cold videos versus warm videos, and the audience might not be used or familiar with those terms. Can you kind of talk about what's a cold video and what's a warm video?
Yeah. So cold video is like when it's like a cold call. You're reaching out to someone that you don't know yet. And when you do a cold video, what you want to do is give really helpful value. Don't assume that the person is going to know who you are or trust you. And the way you build trust is you offer value to them for free. You say, hey, here's 3 tips on managing your anxiety. Hey, here's 3 tips for getting through a day when your depression is really bad. Here's 5 points on managing conflict in relationships. And so that's kind of a cold video, is introducing yourself and saying, I want to help you, and here's how I can help you, and giving them real value. And then at the end of every video, there's a call to action. And in that cold video, you're not going to necessarily give a call to action that's like, set up your first appointment. The call to action might be a little bit softer, like, hey, watch the next video that I'm going to be putting out. Or here's my website. You can check out some of my services. So you're basically going to gain new interest from new people who may not even be thinking about therapy. On the other hand, warm videos are for people who already are looking for therapy and need to know that you're available. So that's basically, warm videos are for people who are already interested in you, who know maybe who you are, and that's more like talking to their basic need. It's a little bit more general, but also pointing them towards a first appointment. Basically, at the end of your warm video, you're going to be like, hey, come and set up a free consultation with me. I'd love to meet you face to face, and we can talk through this stuff for 20 minutes, and it's going to be free. And what would be really nice is to be able to kind of lead people from cold videos into warm videos, if that makes sense. So
yeah.
So especially with Facebook advertising is amazing right now. You can put out a video, and without very much technical know-how, you can put out a video, target your audience, and you can find out. So put out a cold video, for example, just a value video, and then you can see who viewed that, and then you can target those people who viewed your video, viewed that cold video, and then you can send the warm video to them, if that makes sense. Because Facebook tracks who watches what videos, so they can kind of lead into each other as well.
Yeah, so maybe, what it reminds me of is something I've talked about before is people have to know, like, and trust you. And at each level, like, there's less people. So the amount of people that even know you exist, there's probably billions that don't even know that you exist. And then to know you, okay, so there's, you know, however many thousand people that know that you exist, and then who like you and, you know, connect with you, but then trust you. It kind of gets smaller and smaller and smaller at each level. In the same way that I remember when my friend Phil introduced me to my now wife, Christina, he was like, I know this girl who can get us cheap snowboarding tickets. So she went from someone that I didn't know to someone that I knew. And then we started snowboarding together. So we start to like each other. And then eventually over time we get married. And so we trust. And so at each level, the amount of women in my life gets smaller and smaller, down to one. And so I think that with private practices or counselors, it's sort of the same. There's all these therapists that are out there. People don't even know they exist. They then know they exist from a Facebook ad that is out there or a blog post. They then build that trust and they start to like that person by watching those warm videos. And then they like those people through that. And then they end up trusting them by coming to a therapy appointment. And at each level, the amount of options of therapists gets smaller and smaller until they decide on that one. And it sounds like you're really kind of helping people think through that process of how do I first just move someone from, I don't even know you exist, to now I know you exist and I want to see if I like you, from I like you to now I trust you and want to make an appointment.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where I would bring the analogy of the funnel. Except I don't even know if that's the right analogy. Basically you're letting go of people, and that can feel kind of, you know, counterintuitive. You go, I should be reaching out to as many people as possible. Well, maybe at first, but you really want to kind of weed out people who are not your ideal client. And the way you do that is by presenting your authentic self, and being who you are, and, you know, speaking clearly about what you do and what you don't do, who you help, how you help them, that kind of thing. So the more you can, you know, use that funnel to kind of call people to the next step, further and further towards your door, people are going to self-select out, and that's okay. And we have to kind of be okay with that. But what we have to realize is the people who are following, people who end up sticking with you, are the ones who are your ideal clients, and those are people you want to keep working with. So
take us through some of the quick best practices for Facebook ads, your mailing list. Like, how do you use video in those areas?
So the biggest mistake that people make, like we just did a video for a chiropractor, and it was this awesome looking video, and he was really excited about it. And then he uploaded it. I sent him the file and I told him what to do with it. But he uploaded it to YouTube, and then he just put the YouTube link on Facebook, and then he posted it, and he's like, yeah, I'm not getting very many views. And that's because I looked at it, that's because he had the YouTube link up. And when you have a YouTube link on Facebook, you have to click on that. And that kind of just totally ruins the whole experience. You have to go to a whole separate link to actually view the video, when what you want to do is you want to do a separate Facebook upload. A lot of you guys already know this, but you really want to do a separate Facebook upload. So adding a new video. And then what we tell people to do, and here's how you can get like thousands of video views for free without paying a dime. Because I think people are kind of turned off, like, oh, how am I going to get my video out there? Or they put it up, if they upload it to Facebook, they get like, 500 views. We did a video recently where we tried not doing our strategy, and we got like 500 views, which is basically just posting a video on our Facebook page and hoping people saw it. And then what we did is we emailed our friends and our colleagues and even our clients and said, hey, would you be willing, this is a really important video for us, would you be willing to share it? And we got 6,000 views.
Man, and that's just by having people on like one day go share it, like it, comment.
Yes, it's the easiest way to get as many views as possible. And so, and Facebook has all kinds of ways of tracking those views and who watched how long and how many people clicked through. And there's different options, but the most basic thing is to share it with, ask your friends and your colleagues and even your clients to share the video. And we say that each share is worth about 150 views. If that makes sense.
Wow.
So if you can get even just 10 people to share your video, even if it's just 10 of your friends, and they share the video, you can count on there being about 1,500 views right off the bat, probably within the first 24 hours, which is pretty phenomenal for for a video that you're putting out on social media. That's pretty great exposure for free. So
yeah, that's insane.